Welcome to Jones and for Sports, where we make sports better.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jones, and welcome to another episode of E and J Full Court Shot. As always, joined with my boy E. What's good, boy?
What's good?
I know you're happy because fucking basketball is back, baby.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we've done this.
Been a fucking minute since we've been on here. Last time I think we were on here, we were talking The Last Dance, which was like 2 months ago.
Yo, isn't it funny how like the first set of like shit we all got during quarantines, how long ago it seems now? Like all that shit seems
exactly.
like what the fuck?
It's crazy how fast we went through this shit, and we're still going through some of this shit, but we'll get into that more. But before we go on, first, shout out to all the Patreon members that sign up for the Jones of Sports Patreon. We appreciate you guys. We got way more cool as shit coming from you guys. For example, the Jones of Sports apparel, merchandise, and accessories that we have on our website, Teesprings. Check it out on the Jones of Sports Instagram page, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can code. Yeah, you got the promo code, 15% off. All you have to type in is JNFS 15, and you will get 15% off. That deal ends Sunday, guys. Sunday. So make sure you guys go check that out so you can get the 15% off. But like I was saying, for Patreon members, they will get an extra percentage, but we'll work that out in the coming days. So yeah, just check out all those things. Appreciate each and every one of you. Now, to get into what we came to talk about, basketball is back, and I honestly, there's not a better way to just start basketball than to just have a few games and then we start the fucking playoffs. I mean, I wish it was like that every year.
Yeah.
I feel like every season we always go into the beginning of the season like, damn, I wish it was playoffs already. I'm hyped.
I mean, like you usually have that dull period between like October to December. Like
right.
Every true NBA fan knows the season really starts by Christmas Day. Those Christmas Day games are the biggest games of the season, and once after that you start, then I mean around All-Star game usually slows it down, but after the All-Star break, it's everybody getting playoff ready, and then
right, exactly, everyone's
on the go.
And unfortunately, we had COVID-19 hit us and stopped everything. But credit to Adam Silver, who had done an amazing job with getting this bubble, the NBA bubble, a whole new game is what they're calling it, and $1 billion bubble, and trying to keep the players safe, which I think they're doing a great job at it so far. No positive.
Just to stay on that before we move in, before we actually got on, it was a report that they still might be in the bubble next season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like this COVID-19, we're still learning a lot about it. So, and still the whole country is going to have to get tested just to make sure that we're actually safe. So I agree. There's definitely going to be a chance that there's going to be a bubble next year as well. But so far, the bubble that they have they've done an amazing job. Before we get into what we've seen in the bubble so far, I want to know what your thoughts are on Lou Williams getting caught breaking the rules and being caught at Magic City in Atlanta after he was supposed to be on an excused leave to go to a funeral, but he wasn't there.
All right. The reason he was there, he was picking up wings, he said. If that's the truth and that's what you're there for, I get it, because there was a big thing brought up about how the food was in the bubble and whatever. But I would understand if he went there before going to the bubble. But the fact that he went there on an excused absence, like, that kind of makes it look bad. You know what I mean? Like, if it happened to be he was reporting to the bubble, he stopped there, got his wings, all right, cool. You enjoyed your last couple of days before you're going to be in the bubble and stuff like that. But to do it on the excuse absence is kind of slap in the face. Like, You let me go, and now I'm gonna go do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you. I think it wouldn't have been such a big deal. One, if it wasn't the place he went to, Magic City, which is a fucking strip club. So obviously you're gonna get attention from
And then,
that. Um,
like, let's be honest though. What got you out there was you took a picture with a rapper.
yeah, exactly. That wasn't smart. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it would have been smarter if it was just, before he went into the bubble, things like that. He could have been a lot smarter with it as far as getting catered to you or something like that. I mean, they have a dish named after you. So obviously they're gonna cater to you and they're gonna do
Nah, I mean,
whatever they
it's
need to do
kind
to
of
make sure
it's
it's
kind of like, especially like you said, if there's a dish named after you, they know you there. They could have delivered that shit to you at a hotel or something.
right. And like, when it first came out, of course, everyone was cracking jokes and stuff like that, and understandably so. But then when you got to think about the more seriousness of it, is that, like we said, he could have got it catered, but instead he went inside and could have potentially caught the virus. And that could have just caused, we already see what's going on in baseball. One player probably made the wrong decision, and now there's like 20 players and staff members that have the fucking virus. You could have easily seen the same thing happen with the Clippers. So you got to be smart, man. We're at the point where now we were so excited for sports to come back. Now I'm at the point where I'm scared that sports is going to go away again.
I mean,
that's where I'm at because of fucking dumb decisions.
Yeah, just to stay on the Clippers part of it, you're already on the team who's one of the favorites to win. But the biggest criticism on that team is you guys don't have a lot of chemistry because you guys haven't practiced together, played together. And now you have to quarantine for another 10 days, missing practice and stuff like that. And not forget to mention, you're quarantined. Beverly's not practicing, he's quarantined. Zubac is quarantining. I think it's like 2 other guys. You have so many people.
The center.
Oh,
what's his name? Harvell. I can't say what's his name. We know what we're talking about.
Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like it goes to and those 2 are key players to that team. Like you guys bring that. You guys are what everybody uses to say they could be the reason why they beat the Lakers, the Bucks, or something because they have the depth. But you guys haven't practiced the whole year together.
Exactly. And chemistry and gelling together is very important, especially at a time like this where you've been away from your teammates for 4 fucking months.
Like, I'll throw this there.
The time with your teammates now is essential.
I'll throw this there. Look at, I mean, everybody knows, if you don't know by now, I don't know what you've been listening to when we do this podcast, that I'm a Laker fan, and I ride for my guys regardless, but Alex Caruso missed his sister's wedding to stay in the bubble.
Exactly.
Like, he said a wedding is something I'll never be able to make up for, but I can make memories with them down the road. I'm trying to win the championship.
Right. Exactly.
Like, you left for a funeral. Totally, I give it to you. You got to give your last goodbyes to whoever. My condolences to him and whoever passed. I didn't hear who it was. Right. But go to your funeral, do what you got to do, get back. Why would you make a stop?
Your ass back. In the public eye. What makes you special? Like, what makes you special, Lou Will? There's a bunch of guys that are sacrificing the same thing. And they're eating the shitty food that you're eating in the bubble. You don't see them, breaking the rules and shit like that. Like, come on, bro. You got to be smarter than that, man. And not only that, you could risk losing the season.
The fact that how many guys had to opt out because they were nervous about going into the bubble,
exactly.
Because putting their own family members at risk. I'll give you a better one. You have one of the top players in the reigning MVP of the WNBA isn't playing because he has a health risk, and she's not even getting paid for it.
Yep. Exactly.
Come on, bro. Like, the wings can't be that good.
Exactly. And then to top it off, he makes it worse by trying to criticize Perkins for speaking the truth. Don't clap back at anybody for coming at you. You deserve it. And
Yeah.
Kirk wasn't the only one that said that shit. You didn't bring that energy to anybody else. You didn't bring that energy to Shannon Sharp, to Stephen A.
I get that. I get
Come
that.
on,
and all,
man.
but I have my own judgment on a lot of these former NBA players that work for ESPN. I'm not a big fan of them because I feel like they get at ESPN and they talk a big game about it to me, a la Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce says I outlandish shit just so we can talk about it.
Yeah,
Perk,
Paul Pierce.
Perk,
I don't think that's.
Perk,
I don't think
Perk
that's
told that.
ESPN though. I think
No,
Paul
no.
Pierce is just fucking
Perk-
retarded.
Perk toes that line a little, but I get it because I feel like Perk has more of a relationship with a lot of the guys in the league now.
Yeah,
No,
and Perk is gonna keep it real. Paul
Yeah.
Pierce just says shit out of his ass.
Paul Pierce just got to keep his name relevant, and
Right. I think if we're talking about clout, Perk is not chasing for clout.
no, it's just. I mean, but
Paul
then again,
Pierce
the
is chasing for
snapback.
clout.
I get it. You know, he's stupid for snapback. You should only thing that should have came out if you publicly saying anything was an apology. I let my team down. I made a stupid decision. Blah blah blah. Keep it
That's
moving.
it. And you got to understand that this is their job as well. Sometimes, you know, you don't want to, you can't, you're not going to hear what you want to hear from the guys that you respect in the league.
mean, look
but
at us two.
this is their job.
Look at us. We sitting here talking shit.
We talking shit. Who knows who we'll bump into down the road? Fucking what's his name? Jason Whitlock. If he runs into me, he might want to whip my ass. I ain't gonna let it happen.
We want all that.
I talk shit about that dude.
No. But we want.
There's
all
been
that.
like 2 occasions where I came at Jason Whitlock.
We
but who
want
knows
all
if
of
I
it.
run to him?
All that smoke. We
All
take
that smoke. We don't give a fuck.
We take all that smoke. We ain't scared. We stand behind what we say over here.
Chosen for smoke all day.
All right.
long.
Moving on from them whack ass Clippers. I said it. Here we go. Y'all want me talking my shit?
That's right.
Let's go.
Moving
LA
on from
real
them.
team.
Now we're going to go upstairs from the basement to the top level of the building, and that's the Lakers. Now, from I'll give you my personal thoughts first before I hear your thoughts, because you are the Laker fan. I'm just on the bandwagon because Bron's there. I can say that. I'll have no shame of saying that. I'm on the Lakers bandwagon because I'm a LeBron fan. So if anybody got a problem with it, you can kiss my ass.
Before you even do that, you're I don't care. You would just be arguing with bandwagon Clipper fans that just got there because PG and Kawhi are there, so don't even face it.
Exactly. So my thoughts on what I've seen from the Lakers so far is, one, the obvious is we already knew LeBron was going to be LeBron, and he was going to be in tip-top shape. He was going to be ready and prepared for any and everything that was thrown his way as far as this bubble. So no surprise there. Anthony Davis, same thing. My big question was the rest of the guys, the X factors. What were they going to look like? What were they bought in just as much as LeBron and some of the other guys are? And obviously they just picked up JR and Dion Waiters. Obviously they lost. They didn't lose him, but he's not returning to the bubble, and Avery Bradley, which is a big loss for the Lakers because he's a two-way player, especially on defense. Though that's where he really shines. And from what I've seen, the 3 scrimmages that I've watched of the Lakers, I love what I've seen. What?
You miss Rondo, and Rondo's hurt.
And yeah, I mean, I didn't name all the guys, but
No, that's a big.
Yeah, playoff Rondo, absolutely, playoff Rondo. But what I've seen from JR and Waiters is they still got it. They still got it. Now, obviously, the big thing with those two is they're streaky players. They're somewhat the same player because they love to get in trouble and do stupid shit. But when they get hot, they get fucking hot. And especially the last scrimmage, I think both had 20-plus points. JR was 6 from 7 from the 3, doing what he does. Dion Waiters can create his own shot, which is a very, very important aspect for the Lakers, especially with that second unit, because we know when the Lakers, when LeBron leaves the court and AD leaves the court, there's nobody that can put up points, that can create their own shot.
It's stagnant.
Right, exactly. So what the positive thing that I've seen from the Lakers, I would say, is Kuz, Dion Waiters, and JR have looked good. And if those three can be consistent in that second unit and score points with LeBron and AD on the bench, the Lakers are in a great position to take this the whole way. What are your thoughts, E?
Um,
Laker Nation, baby.
of course. I like it, and I know how you said that Jr. and Dion like the same players. They're the same type of players. Where the difference is, where it actually helps, is the fact, like you said, Dion can create his own shot. JR is more of a catch and shoot,
Right.
sit in the corner, dish it to him, he'll knock it down. At least Dion Waiters can drive to the basket. He can score off the dribble, more or less, which is going to help you now,
Absolutely.
especially with Rondo being out, because when the starter's on the court, LeBron's a point guard. You don't need a traditional point guard on the court. When the second unit is on, you need the point guard, and that's where Rondo comes in handy, because Caruso could play the point, but he's not necessarily a point guard.
Right.
I mean, Alex Caruso is a guy who's gonna have to step up now, big with Rondo being hurt.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean, we already needed him to step up without Avery Bradley, because Caruso's another one of their better defensive backcourt players.
Right. Yeah.
We need guys like him, KCP to step up, Danny Green. But it all revolves around those two guys, LeBron and AD. LeBron, you're killing me with the beard. That gray shit on the side is killing me.
He's killing me too with that shit.
LeBron,
Killing
we
me
know,
too. But
we know you could have got your own barber in the bubble. Don't tell me you couldn't.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a more of a mental thing,
I
though.
think he's doing that on purpose to start with. But
Exactly. I think he's showing his age.
to stay on, I thought about it a lot today. Dion and JR might benefit the best from the games being played how they are. Here's why. The games feel like an open gym type of game. Those two guys, no fans to hype them up, just go one-on-one at your defender in school. It seems like that's the type of game we're going to see a lot more now with those two.
Right.
It can get scary if they go off.
I agree. I agree 100%. And that reminds me, it makes me think of Ben Simmons, because I think of the same thing with him. With no crowd, I think he's going to play more freely and not think about the shot so much. So like in practice, we see him shoot it all the time. Now this is it's obviously not practice, it's a real game, but
honestly,
he's not thinking about the crowd.
The guys that are going to step, like you're going to see this benefit the most are obviously the top guys, the LeBron, AD, but you're going to see this is going to benefit Harden very well. Russ.
Yeah.
I seen today Ja Morant was going off filthy, catching nasty alley-oops.
Yep.
Hello. Dame, you're going to see the top guys who we see when it's off-season time, or when you got to remember, these guys go at it on 5-on-5s in the off-season, and it's not like it's them versus some pickups from the gym. No, it's 10 all-stars playing against each other sometimes.
Yep. This is basically open gym. I love it.
This is an open run. This is an open run.
I think it looks great. I think the NBA has done a great job. Shout out to Adam Silver for getting it done, bringing basketball back to us, and hopefully we can fucking crown a championship, and that champion is the motherfucking Lakers.
I hope so.
But obviously now that basketball is back, you're going to see a lot more of me and E in full court shot, because obviously we're going to have to talk some playoffs, because we are a few days away. Playoffs start on Thursday, baby. So
we'll regular season.
Have our sorry, not playoffs. New season starts Thursday. After the season, right before the playoffs start, you'll see me and E again once they have the actual set playoff ranks and shit like that. Then we'll give our predictions there. But the predictions that we're going to give right now, as the last segment of the show, is the NBA awards show for 2020. So from what we know, and that real NBA is, the votes are done. They're not going to count anything towards these next few games. These next 8 games will not be counted. votes are pretty much done, and it is what it is. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna give our own fucking opinions on our season awards because we don't care about what the voters actually do because me personally, I think they fuck it up a lot. So we're just gonna do a Jones of the Sports NBA awards. So starting off with MVP, E, who is your MVP of this season?
I've been flip-flopping a lot lately. Like, my heart wants to say Braun because he's a Laker. And not even just that, like, I got it. Like, everybody knows I'm not the biggest Braun fan. But leading the league in assists, he turned it up this year. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, to me, if we're counting the votes from when the season ended, how it did when the Lakers beat the Bucks and the Clippers in back-to-back games and how dominant he was, it has to be Braun. But my head still got to say Giannis just because you can't deny they're the best team and he's the best player on the best team.
Right.
The only argument I have against it is where does he doesn't – his stats ain't up there with LeBron in the sense of he of course, he's going to lead in field goal percentage because most of his shots are all dunked at the rim and stuff like that. He's not the shooter. But you can't deny him. So I'm still torn between that. Like, I think it's going to – like, what I think they're going to do, they're going to pick Giannis.
Yeah. I think they're going to pick Giannis, and I can't say I would be mad for them picking Giannis because he did have an amazing season. There's no question. And he's doing it on defensive end as well. He's also in the conversation for that. So I understand. But for me, you already know it's LeBron. I'm Team James always. And it's not even on some bias shit. What he's been able to do, what he's done this season is ridiculous for someone in their 17th season. And everyone wants to throw an account that he has AD. I get it. That makes sense. That should, lower your chances because you have another top 5 player in the league. I get it. But when you take LeBron off that court, like we spoke about just a few minutes ago, what happens to the team when he's off the court? They can't do shit. Everyone's looking for LeBron. Like, what do we do? What do we do? And that even includes AD at times. Even AD's like, I'm waiting for the pick and roll. It's not LeBron. I got to create my own shot right now. And I know I'm AD, but I'm not you. I haven't done this all year. I've been waiting on LeBron. So that LeBron is he shows it every fucking year how valuable he is to his team. Every single year. I'm not taking anything away from Giannis, but if you take Giannis off the court, his team can still put up buckets because they're loaded with their benches as well. If you take Giannis off that team, are they still a playoff team? Yes. Probably 7th, 8th seed, maybe 6th.
Nah, not even. I see him more of like a 4 through 6 in that middle of the pack type of thing.
They can make it. If you take LeBron off of that Laker team, yes, you still have AD. Yes, you're still a playoff team.
It's the 8th seed.
But you're in the West.
That's a 7 to 8 seed.
Exactly. You're in the West. We're talking about the West seed now, the West Conference. And you're not – I don't think they make it out of the first round. I don't.
All right, Charles Barkley, relax.
I don't think the Lakers would make it with just AD and the team that they have right now because who's their leader? Who? AD? No shame on AD, but he hasn't been a leader even when he was with the Pelicans. He wasn't a leader of that team. You know what I mean? So I don't think he has that type of role to actually lead a team to a championship. Now, I'm not saying the Bucks would get to a championship without Giannis. I'm not saying that, but they would definitely make noise in the East for sure.
Hey, that's not. Well, here we go. They didn't. They had him last year. They didn't make him. They didn't make it to the finals last year with Giannis.
Exactly.
I mean, there
And
was a guy named Kawhi who stopped them, but still.
right, right. And everyone's saying how the Bucks are the favorite in the East. They're not. To me, they're not. But that's a conversation for another episode. So we just finished MVP. Now, Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you got? Did we lose you, E? Looks like we lost E. So I'm going to say my Defensive Player of the Year until we get E back. For me, there's 3 options for Defensive Player of the Year. 1, the Greek Freak. 2, AD. And 3, Gobert. And for me, it was tough for all 3 of those guys. But for me, if I had to pick one, there he is. He's back. He's back.
Sorry.
I held it down while you were gone. We're doing Defensive Player of the Year. I'm just gonna give mine, and then you give yours. For me, it was tough to give this one, E, but for me, I gotta go with Giannis. Since I didn't give him the MVP, I'll be nice and give him the Defensive Player of the Year because based off of his stats and stuff like that, he definitely deserves to be in the conversation. And he's doing it 2 ways, so I respect that. Gobert, he's done it back-to-back already. Time to find someone new. And AD was definitely in consideration for me. Definitely in consideration. But the reason why I didn't give it to AD is Giannis has been doing it a little bit longer, only because he's played more games. And his stats are still close to comparable to AD. So I had to give it to him. His stats are just ridiculous on that end. But AD is definitely a close second.
Oh, you know I'm going AD on mine. Like he leads the league in blocks per game. Like he changes that. Like when he's there and he's on his shit, there's no scoring on the inside on the Lakers.
Yeah, no question.
Like he helps. He helped the defense out tremendously. We had a bad defense last year.
Oh yeah.
Like AD changes a lot of shots, blocks most of them. You know, don't get me wrong. Of course, having guys like JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard too, but if you even watch them, even look at some of the hustle defensive plays, AD running back to get there. Like to me, it's AD all the way.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why I gave it to Giannis is because also, as a group, his team is, if I'm not mistaken, is the #1 defense in the league. So usually when you have that, something like that, and he's leading the way for that, that's part of the reason why I give it to him. But you know damn well I want to pick AD more than anything.
I mean,
more than anything, but I had to be a little unbiased on that one.
For the next award, I don't think we should spend that much time on it. Rookie of the year is definitely Ja.
Right.
Why are we gonna? Don't bring up Zion. I'm a Duke fan, but I'm not even gonna mention him. He didn't play enough games. I don't care. Ja Morant.
That's it. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why
Ja
Zion.
So we can move on from that.
Yeah, I think if Zion played more games, he would have got it though. I definitely think he could have been. He would have caught up because when he did come back, he went on a tear. So, but it's definitely Ja Morant. Ja Morant has been playing the whole season and he's been consistent and he's getting his team involved. So it's Ja Morant. He's going to be a problem for this league. Next award. What is this one? What the fuck? Oh, 6th Man of the Year. Who do you got? We lost them again. All right, well, I'm going to hold it down again for us. 6th Man of the Year, in my opinion, is Dennis Schruter. What he's been able to do coming off the bench. Now, obviously, no disrespect to Lou Williams and Trez from the Clippers. Those two, you can definitely put them in that conversation because they're amazing every year. Especially Lou. We know he's the greatest 6th man we've ever seen. Next to Jamal Crawford, you can put both of those two together in that conversation. We lost E completely. Damn. That's all right, though. I'm going to hold it down like I said, finish it. Hopefully we get him back. If not, I'll finish it. But Dennis Schruter, almost averaging 20 points off the bench, 4 or 5 assists a game. And he's on a OKC team that a lot of people didn't believe would be in the playoff conversation. And they're sitting at 6, playing well, playing real good basketball, especially late in games. They have, if I'm not mistaken, they're the number 1 team in comebacks wins this year. So shout out to the OKC. We got him back, y'all. He's back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're doing some work out here.
It's all good. It's all good.
Verizon's fucking me up over here, fucking guys.
We talking 6th man of the year, and I picked Dennis Schruter. He's been amazing for the OKC. And like I said, Lou Will and Trez, you can obviously put them in that conversation, but
yeah,
I'm giving mine. For me, I had to go with OKC because of the surprise team they are. They're such a surprise team. I had to go with Dennis Schruter.
I'm giving mine to Mr. Magic City. Lou Will, you get your wings and your 6th man.
I can't argue that.
He's the best 6th man in the league.
Yeah, there's no question, and that's why I was just like, you gotta give it to somebody else. Me personally, I just wanted to give it to somebody else. He can get it in every year he wants. So different thing. Most improved player of the year. Now this one was a tough one for me because I had 2 guys that I could have gave it to, but I gave the edge to my guy, B.I., Brandon Ingram. What he was doing with the Pelicans is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Now, I know, E, you being the Laker fan that you are, you wish that you got that from him last year. Even though he played well last year, don't get me wrong. But this year, if they would have got that from him this year, or last year, they would have been in a lot better place. B.I. has been phenomenal for the Pelicans. Part of the reason why they were even in the playoff run. No question. So he's going to be a vital part of that team in the future, especially if they're going to make the playoffs.
As not only as a Laker fan, but as a Duke fan, like I think honestly,
Duke's standing up right now.
Him being off the Lakers is better for him. Out of that spotlight, playing in New Orleans is a lot.
He likes to handle the ball.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he wasn't a match with LeBron. So right. I'll definitely say that. Like, I agree. B.I. all the way. Balled up. He's an all-star this year. He took that step forward to showing why he was drafted number 2.
Yeah, no question. Absolutely. He definitely took that step and was like, look, I'm here, and I'm going to show the Lakers why they missed out on trading. They should have traded Kuz instead of him.
Don't get me started.
Had to do that. Before I go into that, another in consideration for that is Bam. Bam bursted out of nowhere, in my opinion. I didn't see what he did this year for the Heat coming at all. I knew he was a good player, but I mean, he makes a huge difference for that Heat team, especially when you talk about the playoffs and the potential of knocking off the Bucks. He's a huge part of that.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I didn't put him is because he kind of showed a little bit of it last year.
Right.
You know, so, you know.
Right, that's why the reason I gave.
The only reason why, like I said, Ingram gets it because Ingram took literally that big step. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was here, he went to here.
He did, for sure. No question. Last but not least, another hard one for me to actually pick. It was so hard for me to pick it, I actually gave it a tie. But I will give somebody an edge if I have to. But Coach of the Year.
Frank Vogel?
That's your vote?
No. I'm going to actually give it.
He's in the conversation.
Nah,
especially what you looked at with the Lakers last year.
I know, but I look at that as like almost to the sense of like with like in baseball. Last year, Aaron Boone was legitimately the manager of the year. He dealt with injuries, and still the Yankees ended up with the second best record or whatever. But he didn't get that award because why? You manage the Yankees. You're supposed to win. Frank
Very
Vogel,
true.
you coach LeBron and AD. You should be one of the top teams in the league. So for
Yeah.
me,
So that hurts him.
my coach of the year is Nick Nurse.
Okay. Respect.
One of the top teams in the East. They lost Kawhi Leonard. They didn't bring nothing big in. And to still have that team balling the way they do, nah, I gotta give it to Nick Nurse.
All right. So since you picked Nick Nurse, that it was a tie between Nick Nurse and the next person I'm going to say. I'm going to give him the edge only because you said Nick Nurse, so I'm just going to do the opposite of what you said.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
You feel me? So the person that I think should be coach of the year is Billy Donovan because nobody's seen OKC doing what they did this year. Obviously, they got Chris Paul, and he's a great player and everything.
I mean, that
they traded all their players and well, they didn't trade all their players, but they traded their top guy in Westbrook. Got rid of a bunch of players, and everyone thought this was going to be a rebuild season. And not only was it not a rebuild season, it was I'm in the playoff season.
Definitely, yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think they are the number one team in comeback wins this year.
Yeah, and I think Chris Paul.
A lot of comeback wins.
Chris Paul actually leads the league in clutch baskets.
Exactly. I mean, and that's another guy that is he's in his 15th, 14th season.
But hear me out. The reason why, like I stay with Nurse over Donovan would be we starting to see the CP3 of old. Like maybe him getting away from playing with a guy like James Harden brought that out of him. Now he's the guy. We all know he's a bulldog. He's a fierce competitor. He's a leader. All of that, whether you like him or not.
Right.
He just brings that out of these younger guys. And let's not forget to mention, they got a nice haul from the Clippers for Paul George.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the reason why, who knows who's going to actually get it, but I think the thing that hurts Nick Nurse is you are the defending champion.
The only reason why he gets it in my book is you lost Kawhi and you're still there. Like,
absolutely.
You lost a top 3 player in the league and you're still there.
No question. He definitely deserves that because that shows right there that you can fucking coach. That tells you right there you can coach. It's similar to what's his name in Boston when they lost Kyrie and they didn't lose Kyrie, but Kyrie was injured and he still was able to bring that Boston Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
So mad respect to that. So
since we're done with awards, we gave our awards. Let's stick just to coaching. There was breaking news the other day. Your Knicks, Tom Thibodeau. How you feel?
All right.
You don't want me to you don't want me to start it.
This is what I'll say. I've after sitting on it for 2 days or 3 days, however long it's been. At first, I was very excited because just to hear a good name for once, was great. But then after thinking about it for a little bit, still a good hire. I'm still happy about the hire. But there's still a lot more that needs to be done within that organization in order for that to work, 1. 2, I think there were better hires out there instead of Thibodeau. Mark Jackson still deserves a shot. There was someone else that I think deserves a shot. I can't think of them. Ty Lue, Jason Kidd. There's other names that I think also deserved it, but Tom Thibodeau is not a bad name. We know that what we're going to get out of him as far as a defensive coach, that is great. I feel like I heard someone say, I forgot who said it, but they said his role would have been better fit as an assistant, as like a defensive coach. And I kind of agree with that. He could have been on the staff as a defensive coach because I don't think he fits perfectly with the guys that they have right now. You know what I mean? So if they're going to build around that, then so be it. But right now, I don't think he's the perfect fit, but I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It's a start. It's a fucking start. We got to take anything we can.
No. Like Thibodeau, all right, I get it. You know, it's a good choice because he'll bring you good defensive. And I even think he'll help toughen all these young guys up and stuff like that. But we do know he doesn't have the greatest track records with being a coach's player. I mean, obviously, guys love playing with him. Jimmy Butler loves playing with him. All these guys. We all know what he did to Derrick Rose's career. But like you said, one key thing. There's still a lot of changes. There's one change that needs to be happened, and Dolan needs to sell the fucking team. Good.
That happens.
I'm gonna talk as much shit. Whether we were well known or not. I ain't going to the fucking Garden. What the fuck I need to go to Garden for? James Dolan, you suck as an owner. You suck more as a person. But like, yeah, what was the thing I told you when you guys hired him? That move only makes sense if they let him rock.
Right.
Let him be the coach. Don't try to control everything. Here's another thing. All you Knicks fans that had hope, you're not getting a LaMelo Ball. Not happening.
Why you say that?
You're not. The odds. The basketball gods do not like the Knicks. So enjoy whatever when you get like the 7th pick and you draft. I don't know this draft class very well. This whole year has been like fucked up. You might draft another kid from Europe. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. Like the Knicks, any news with the Knicks and hiring is still like you can say yeah, it's a good move, but then like you said, you once you think about it, you're like, oh wait, James Dolan is still here.
Exactly. Like Knicks fans, and I'm speaking to all my Knicks fans. It's okay to be excited about it, but don't get ahead of yourself. The Knicks have a lot more.
Like it's already starting now. They're looking into guys like Zach LaVine and stuff like that. If I'm Zach LaVine, I'm like, please, if I go to New York, let it be Brooklyn.
Exactly. New York, Brooklyn is starting to be the hot spot now, and it's a fucking shame.
We'll talk about that soon. You know, I have a hot take on somebody that plays in Brooklyn, and you know it. So we'll wait till that for an off-season episode.
We'll definitely talk about that for sure. But I think that's it. Is there any other news that you wanted to talk about?
Shout out to Kyrie for donating $1.5 million to the WNBA players who ain't getting paid. That's big.
Major shout out to Kyrie. That was huge of him to do that. You guys already know my support for women's basketball. Every Wednesday I put up Women's Sports Wednesdays, Watch Her Work Wednesdays, because I got mad love for the WNBA. The day they tipped off their season, you've seen guys like LeBron, John Morant wearing WNBA sweaters. Kyrie kicked it up a notch and really
I'm gonna say who was a big advocate for women's basketball. God rest his soul, the Mamba.
Absolutely. If the Mamba was here right now, he would be very happy. He'd be very happy, and he would probably follow suit right in Kyrie's steps. So major shout out to Kyrie for doing that.
That's big.
Major shout out. But that's it. One more thing. Again, patrons, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Also, go check out the Jonesville Sports Apparel on the Jonesville Sports Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube page to get your T-shirts, your sweaters, your pillows, your towels, coffee mugs. We got it all.
Your mask. Wear your fucking mask.
Jonesville Sports mask. And we got them in, we got the black, we got the white, we got the black and white. Got them all. Shirts like it. You're going to start seeing us wear them a lot more because they're all coming in. So promo code JNFS15, you will get 15% off your anything. So check it out. It's your boy Jones, E&J Full Course Shot. Jones of the Sports. We make sports better. Peace. Jones of the Sports. We can make sports better.